Rob, can we introduce Dave Klein to one or both of your parents? Like, what?
Oh, that's great.
How do your parents feel about the spotlight?
I'm great with moms.
What do you mean? Like,
don't you think the audience would like to meet your mom?
I'm great with moms. Yeah, I didn't have a bad mom interaction with my wife.
Yours to lose.
Donna, are you shy? Would you be willing to come sit up and?
Yeah.
Donna Schrab.
Behave yourself. Behave yourself. Behave yourself.
That's to you, gorgeous.
Oh, you behave yourself.
He's really
Knock
pouring it on.
Knock it off. Not cool. Not cool.
Now, you keep an eye on me over here.
Yes.
You got a real great mom. She seems.
Stop talking right now.
Well, apples
You need
and
to
trees.
stop talking.
Apples and trees. You're a great guy. You know, you probably got a great mom. That's how it kind of goes.
Stop
Like
talking.
me, my mom's a great mom. I'm kind of a great guy.
That's true. That is very true.
That all adds up.
All right,
that very
thank
true?
you. Yeah, that means a lot.
Donna, welcome to the show. Sorry about it.
Thank you.
But I'm not going to change it for you.
Sorry in advance.
How are you? It's good to see you.
I'm just fine, just fine.
I will say, it's kind of corny now to say this, but I'll say this about both of the parents, like Donna and David. Like, you guys have like a Dorian Gray portrait somewhere. Like, you're frozen in time. You guys are like I'm turning into just. I've gone past Michael Moore, and I'm now just like I'm just melting into a puddle of whatever Kevin Smith. Like cleans out of himself in the morning. No, I'm not dissing him. I'm saying like I'm beyond. Brother. Like I'm just like I've turned into protoplasm. Like I'm just like slowly melting. I'm like. But you guys are just the same image. You know, you're just Donna and David Schrab.
Thank you.
It's nice. I mean, it's not important to
They
look
haven't
good.
stopped smiling since I met them in the green room.
They're sweet
before
people.
The show.
And
They're
here's
really
the thing
sweet
about
people.
Rob, like when it's through meeting Schrab and then meeting his parents that I started to gain insight into the fact that creative types, we create our own mythology behind us. Because Rob would be like, the only stories you'd hear about his upbringing, because you're like hanging out with a creative and you're like 20 years old, and you're just like bolstering each other and going like, yeah, the society's bullshit.
yeah, punk rock.
And you know, I'd hear a story about like, well, one day my mom hid all my comic books, or one day, you know. But you know, and then I met you, and it's like, oh, she's a sweetheart. She's not hitting me with a belt. She's great. And I do think that's.
This is a nightmare.
like talk about anything you want, by the way, but just talk about like what did Rob have weird privates when he was born, or like do you remember him eating his own shit, or oh no, okay,
I'm curious about that.
Should I walk around the block for a bit?
no, you should sit there,
Okay.
keep one camera on him.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the important question? When did Robbie? By the way, his name on his birth certificate, Robbie Schrab.
Robbie Christopher.
Yeah, not Robert, not Rob. Yeah, Robbie
man.
is on the birth
Mom
certificate.
you didn't like Robert. She didn't like. She's going like this podcast at home. That actually didn't
She's
help.
going like this.
That didn't help at all.
That's palms.
She's shrugging her
Let me
shoulders.
do it again for the listeners. She's going like this.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
What was a moment when you really knew Rob was different?
Yeah.
Dan's doing air quote.
Special.
Yeah.
Yep.
Special.
Go ahead.
Well, he was always drawing. In fact, when he was in second grade and they had to do cursive writing, and it had to be very neat, but Rob would go on the margin and he'd draw all these little pictures, and the teacher would say, I never reprimanded him because I was always anxious to see what he drew in the margins.
This is the best.
But when
By the
he
way, I
was-
know it feels unnatural because I'm Midwestern too, but you get put your lips like this distance from the mic, like
Okay.
so just so we can
All
hear
right,
all this
all right.
tenderness. So Rob, does that match up with your mom? Was a supporter. She was an ally.
Well, I was there. I don't remember all the teachers being very happy about me not doing homework.
All right. Well,
But, I
So
mean...
he told everybody when he was at the high school graduation, he had to give a speech, and the first thing he said was, "I was the worst high school student in all of Mayville."
It's true. It's
telling
true.
you got to just eat that mic. You got to eat
You
it.
gotta eat it, okay?
It doesn't feel natural.
okay,
to
okay.
hear your voice booming, but
All
it's,
right,
it's okay.
all right.
So what's the worst discipline problem Rob ever presented? Like what was like a big family drama? Like oh man, we got to punish this kid.
No, he was always cute.
No, come on.
That is true.
No,
that is
come
true.
on.
That is true.
But you know what he used to do when he was like 3?
Eat his
And
own
he
shit.
loved
Eat his own shit.
And he
Wait,
loved,
don't say it yet. I want to anticipate it a little bit more.
He loved going to the tub, being naked.
Yeah.
And then this was at a time when everybody wore cowboy boots.
Sure.
Or so he told you.
So he put, So he would always go and put Dave's cowboy boots on and walk around the house naked.
Yeah.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
You're kind of proud of that.
With
That's a badge of honor.
with a pacifier in his
We
mouth.
did it this afternoon.
God bless him.
We did it this afternoon. Dad brought the boots in from
It was,
Wisconsin.
It was pretty hard to get rid of the pacifier.
I called it my noonie.
Yes, you called it your
Yeah.
noonie.
Donna,
Until the
what-
day you went into the bathroom and you looked straight at me and you took it and you went right into the toilet.
Wait,
And then stuck it in his mouth.
Yeah.
wait, what? I
And
missed
before the day was over with, I had taken it away and threw it away. And he asked where it was, and I said, I don't know where it is.
Wait, what was it? A spoon? I missed the
no,
top of
no,
that.
pacifier.
My pacifier.
Oh, he washed it off in the toilet like a,
Yeah,
like a
'cause it was
monkey with a
dirty.
potato.
Monkey with a potato.
What?
I'm just an animal to you.
Did he have a word for his pacifier, like Binky or Boo Boo or?
Noonie.
Noonie, okay.
A noonie.
That.
A noonie.
Just said that.
It's a
Okay,
noonie.
look, I
said it on another podcast too. You have no interest in my life. Nothing.
Donna, how old were you when you and David got married?
I was 21.
Wow. See, kids are. We were raised by.
I know.
Kids.
Could you imagine having children? And I was kid too.
when you were raising me?
When you were a child.
No. Like you had Jeff before me,
Yes.
and then me,
Yes.
and you were 21 when you had me, right?
No.
What did you just say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
no,
21
She
when
was
I
21
got
when she married your
married.
dad.
And
21
I got
oh, okay,
married,
all right.
and then 2 years later Jeff came, and then 3 years later you came, and then 4 years later
I can't
Stephen
imagine
came.
having kids.
That was such a huge epiphany for me.
Yes.
Was in Hollywood, my first one-bedroom apartment. I needed to get a driver's license. I needed my birth certificate. I was 20. I was in my early 20s. I think I was 23 because and so I for the first time I bothered to just read my birth certificate from left to right, going down. There's a baby footprint and there's things, and then there's like my parents were 23 when they had me. I'm the youngest of 3 kids. They got married when they were out of high school, which is not uncommon. Baby boomer generation. It's like, who else am I going to meet? There's no internet. Let's make it work. And it's like, oh my God, I was 23 standing in a sea of empty pizza boxes and frankly mannequin parts and
Yeah, no, I was a child.
And I was like, if I was in charge of another person's
my
life,
God.
and I have been in the form of any social relationships, and I've been made a disaster out of all of them.
All my journals when I was 21.
Yeah.
The least responsible person.
And here we are, like again, I was like, oh man, I've been bitching about my parents since I was 13, you know,
Yeah.
like, and it's like, wait, oh, well, but they did kind of accomplish something here. Yeah, that was a turning point. Not that I ever became a nice person to my parents or anything, because it's, I mean,
Or
what are you gonna-
anybody.
But your dad also, it should be noted, like your dad, like your mom kind of is she's sort of the rock star of your family because she's adorable.
You're saying that in front of my dad.
Because your dad's a stand-up guy and he's got that perma grin and it's not insincere and he was weren't you in the Navy, David, or what was the yeah. He's
He's in
guy's
submarines.
He's a gentleman and a stand-up guy and I don't know, he never we never shine a spotlight on him. I'm not suggesting we do. I don't know what would happen. He might start karate chopping us with there might be Manchurian Candidate
Yeah.
programming inside of him.
Don't bring that up.
That will activate. But I don't know. Your parents are wonderful people, and they got married when they were 21, and they're still together, and they
50 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, 50? I don't know if that'll happen. I don't know if anyone listening to this podcast will ever experience a 50-year marriage, even in witnessing it. I think that our society has all too readily accepted the idea that you get 3 divorces in your life. What's wrong with these people? I got divorced. Sorry.
I just feel like I'll be dead before I hit 50. I got married 13 years ago, so I'm not gonna make it to 50.
Greenhouse effect, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know
Solar flares.
something that I got really freaked out about? So, have you heard of these life pods, Donna?
The tree?
This is a new thing. Like when you talk about how you want to be, dealt with in your passing. There's the coffin in the ground, and then there's the cremation, and then there's mausoleums in Europe or something. I don't know. Or there's I think they can dangle you from a zeppelin and just fly you over.
That's not a thing.
No, it's not a thing.
That's not a thing.
But go to my GoFundMe and.
Don't go to that.
But they have these things called life pods now. My girlfriend was showing me. They look like giant potatoes, like potatoes that you could fit a person in. Because you do put a person in them and then bury them underground so that a tree can suck on them, and so it's like standard burial, but it's more organic.
I think that's beautiful.
But
I posted that on Kate's Facebook page and just said FYI.
But Cody and I want to be in the same one.
Yeah.
So that means if I get hit by a bus, I have to be frozen until she dies, and then. So we got to work up the paperwork for that.
That's a lot of legal paperwork.
There should be a window. It's like Writers Guild with streaming rights. It's like there should just be like a 3. Well,
that's a lot of
if
codicils.
he dies and then it's 3 years and then you start dating, then we'll bury his body in his own life pod. But the thing that started to panic me because I really thought about it was, okay, what if 6,000 years from now aliens come to Earth and they're like, oh, we found a planet where people lived and evolved in a sentient life, and when they died, they'd bury themselves or each other. They didn't know about this, Ray. And then everybody who has bones in a box 6 feet underground in these clearly marked areas, they all get to go, hey, my name's Fred Johnson. I fought in World War II, and it's good to be in the year 8009.
Yeah, that's in the...
But my dumbass, because I was such a hippie and had my shit scattered in Joshua Tree, I'm the only one not at the party.
Oh, wow.
I'm terrified now. And that explains pyramids. You can imagine them. They lived till 17, and some of them were gods, and they were like, yeah, build me a pyramid. They really thought there was a chance. I'm going to come back. Put booby traps around
my dogs and servants in there with me.
Yeah.
What do they have to do to the servants to convince them, like, hey, why don't you go? Oh, I forgot something in there. I'll get it. No.
It's kind of smart because the servants were always trying to keep them alive.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, what, after they died?
No. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Well, I always imagined that the food taster is a real, like, serious, like, right-hand man of the king. Because, I mean, that guy can't be screwing around with his, like, eating, right? Like the emperor's gonna need, like, the food taster, especially in the afterlife. He doesn't know what's what. It's gonna look like a pot roast, but where do you know that's gonna take you?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean in the afterlife? There's after poison?
Well, no, exactly. Me and Schrab are kind of on the same page on this. Like, the reason you're gonna need
That's always a red flag. That's a red flag.
It's a big red flag, but I'm gonna go with it.
He wears cowboy boots and just nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, not for nothing.
Don't be jealous.
My high school had a dress code, and you had to wear leather shoes and a shirt and tie. But I would wear a shirt and tie, and I wear alligator cowboy boots that I got on Bitcoin before there was a Bitcoin kind of thing going on.
You're the best.
Long story short, the reason you need a poison tester in the normal life is the same reason you need a poison tester in the afterlife.
I want to hear that whole story. It sounds engaging and epic.
I was gonna put a pin in that one because I wanted to ask Donna.
Do you think like when you get an antidote, the poison goes to heaven, and that's what you're talking about?
Oh, so like there's poison, there's dead poison.
Like a ghost poison.
All right.
And then you can put that in your ghost.
It's poison with unfinished business.
Right. So if you give it an antidote.
Or no, I'm sorry. That's ghost poison. That's poison that's still down here.
Yeah.
That we just can't know. We don't know that we're eating.
Right.
I
think you're onto
Valiant
something.
poison that nailed it goes up to Valhalla, where it's used to poison people.
Sparingly on important and dangerous spirits.
Right. So, Donna,
I missed the first part of this conversation because I was talking to Donna.
You got married at 21, but when did you meet?
We actually were in high school together.
And so, all right.
But we never talked in high school.
Yeah, just in general, it was like monastery, or
I knew of
Never
him,
talked
and
to
that
each
was
other.
it.
And you went to Mayville High, right? You went to the same high school I did.
You did, yes.
And so, okay, so
That's
you,
some Hill Valley
how we got
shit right
together
there.
was his sister and I used to go out drinking together, and he came home.
Hey, wait! Whoa! Wait,
Your mother's a person.
Hey!
That's when I used to
Well,
drink.
you're going
beer.
out drinking. You're carrying me.
No, I wasn't married.
Oh, okay.
God.
Yeah, but something.
Rob is
This didn't happen
experiencing
on
his
accident.
trauma at 9/11. All right, so
We cheer 9/11 because we're really happy about the terrible thing.
You would go out. You were drinking buddies with Rob's dad's sister.
No.
Okay.
Dave's sister. We used to
Yeah,
go.
Rob. Okay.
There was. Oh yeah.
That's how you met.
Yes.
For the record.
He came
Yeah,
home
for the
one
record.
time from service, and I thought he looked pretty good, and I was kind of under the weather, and I told his sister, I said, I think I'm going to marry that guy.
Wow.
Before you ever held hands or anything?
Yes.
Oh,
You
that's
just
great.
saw him in his uniform
I
and
thought-
with his little
He was-
sailor
Did he have his
cap
uniform
under his
on?
arm.
He was looking
He
good.
looked like Mr. Pretzel.
Yeah, he was looking good.
Mr. Pretzel.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
And so
6 months later, we were engaged.
Yeah.
because
bravo.
Donna Schrab gets things done.
Right.
Yes.
It's in the Schrab DNA.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Gotta do it.
Do you think that he was compliant with any of that, or was
Yeah,
he just
he
a
was.
hapless victim?
No, he was compliant.
Somewhere along the line, he
Somewhere
jumped on board.
Were you sweet on her from afar?
You notice how he had to think that through.
The
just
answer
for a
was sure.
second.
Thank you.
That's
for
an
the-
old. That's how an old school American gentleman speaks about
Yeah.
a lady. Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to throw that in there. I just.
You're not as good as Dad.
There's a ray of masculinity like emanating from Rob Schrab's dad that like informs like a lot of like power invested in the.
Yeah, were
gentleman.
you an admiral?
Okay. Yeah. He has a regal presence for the
You
podcast.
command
He has a
respect.
regal, yeah. Anyway.
But you were on submarines and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's better than being an admiral. I think.
Yeah,
With
Rick, is that a famous admiral that was like, yeah, Admiral Rickover? What-
Admiral Rickover.
Well, let's.
You ever get Rick over on YouTube? We're gonna check out the new Avengers trailer and get Rick overed.
You're just trying to look at a weather person's blunder, and you get Rick rovered. Overed.
What was Rickover's? What was his crucial role?
He was really the father of the nuclear navy. He the first one that came off the Nautilus.
Wow.
So he was.
He used to say, "Not bad for a 120-pound Jew."
Did you know him? Did you ever meet him?
Met him.
It's in ceremonial circumstances.
He was doing quizzes and checking out what they used to have, operational readiness, and he would run them.
Nobody can hear
Well,
the
okay.
We don't know that.
All right.
Yeah, but that's.
Well, I'm taking
It's
it all
interesting
in.
to us.
I was
can
gonna.
hear the
For the
Out
record,
loud.
Rob
It's very
Schrab's dad was laying down some like serious like historical nuclear submarine knowledge and like the admiral he was serving under. But just sweep that under the rug. We don't need to get a mic on that.
All right. Well, there's only so many mics, so let's replace Dave Klein with David Schrab.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
David,
Yeah.
we'd be honored if you would come up and just. Thank you, Dave Klein.
Mr. Schrab.
The modern definition of a gentleman. Thank you, Dave.
I'm sorry, Dad.
yeah, right.
I'm so sorry.
All right. So you were just saying from your chair, you served in the Rickover administration. I don't. That's not. Those aren't the words you used. Your admiral when you were in the Navy was Admiral Rickover, who I've never heard of, but was a. You're saying he was like the he was the Steve Jobs of the nuclear Navy.
Yes, exactly. That would be a good analogy.
Wow.
Did you see that Steve Jobs movie?
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
Rickover was a little bit of an SOB.
Wow.
Very much so, in fact.
He wanted things his way, and if you gave them to him his way, maybe things worked more efficiently. But maybe I don't know.
Maybe he was pretty much a non-military kind of guy. He never wore his uniform.
Really?
Yeah,
He was
really?
so he was more of a Zuckerberg type. He'd just show up in pajamas,
He wore a hoodie.
Crocs, and an iPod. So what? So in the Navy, this is the stuff like my ex-wife's father was a chaplain, a Navy chaplain, and I didn't even really realize until I was talking to him that you were an enlisted man. You signed up. You were
Yes.
right? And I never even knew this about our military. In all of the branches of the military, there is a uncrossable line between enlisted men and officers, right? You can't become. You can go as high as a certain rank if you're enlisted.
That's not correct.
Okay, great.
You can go all the way from seaman to admiral if you are so inclined.
Really?
Or your ability will let you do that.
Okay.
It's possible.
Okay, maybe what he was expressing, and I shouldn't put words in his mouth. Maybe I'll get a letter from him. You just got me fired from the military? I thought it was like actually like no, like officers. Like it's almost sounded like a class system thing. Like if you were born wealthier, basically, you're like if you go to West Point, like you would go to.
Maybe in 1919 or something like that, but not today.
Is it maybe an Army thing instead of like a Navy thing?
Marines thing.
A
No.
Marines thing?
Yeah, you can't go to the.
This guy, he's saying, no
Yeah.
way, Jose. Between the two of you, I
You can
believe
go to
it.
sergeant major in the Marines if you didn't go to college. If you go to college, then you can go to general. But there's a
It's a college thing.
yeah.
Okay.
That
So
makes sense.
okay. Well, so you
If
could.
you go to sergeant major,
So you could
you
be.
might be a general.
It's a Jeff Foxworthy routine. Yeah. I feel like I haven't explained things to you. So just give us a little side of your story because your wife, of course, she's going to glorify herself in this story. How she set you in her crosshairs, and then 6 months later you were a husband.
Yeah, prove that you're the real hero.
Pretty much it.
Okay,
that was pretty much it.
Did you feel like the push? Did you like this lady's?
I was pretty willing participant.
Yeah.
You were fine with it. You were like, this goddess is coming into my world, and okay, that's my new religion. Like that's. Okay. 50 years,
so
man.
Great.
Boy, oh boy.
No kidding.
Well, okay, so give us some pointers because we live in this sewage where we're all watching porn together and everything's pierced and tattooed and
we're not watching it together. I've never watched porn with anybody else.
He's talking about him and his girlfriend, mom and dad.
Oh, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But also,
what were you
what
saying?
happens after the shows?
What were you saying?
Saying like we live in a
Bob Kane stuff.
I mean, but the royal we. Go ahead.
We live in a society where the boundaries have been eroded, they've been taken down, and in so many ways that was an important thing to happen because those boundaries were protecting bad things happening to good people. We needed to like kind of lower the compartments so that everybody was all mixed together, and that what was once considered only for behind closed doors conversation started to move onto the television and then into everyday conversation. Along the way, I think one of the things we've definitely lost, and I don't know if it's for better or for worse, is that the lifelong marriage is like we don't. So I guess what I'm asking is, if we could, without changing too much about the direction we're moving in, because we all need to keep evolving and being more chaotic in our life. But I think also a lot of us would like to think they could be in a partnership that lasted as long, for 50 years or more. Is there any little nugget, like any little tip? Like you guys are going to say, red candles.
Yeah.
A little more. Yeah, red candles, maybe.
Have you guys ever been to couples therapy? Have you ever had to do any maintenance?
No.
Do you know about that?
Yeah.
That's a thing now.
It's a thing. Well, don't need it.
So how did you guys, I mean, what's the secret?
What's the secret?
I love him the same as I did the first day we got married.
There you have it.
It's kind of a frustrating
and
answer,
he's my
but
best
we'd like to know the secret, and you're obviously just telling us we're the best, and we're like, we know. What's the secret?
And he's my best friend. And we talk things over.
And there's nothing.
And he's the calm one, and I'm the worrier. So it's a balance.
Yeah.
So
Somebody's got to do the worrying in the family.
The military man, the guy that you saw in a uniform and said he's going to be my husband, he's the one that actually brings the don't worry about it as much energy. Like
he's very calm.
You find yourself fretting more, and then he says, don't worry about it that much.
Yeah.
Just let it go, all right?
He was sleeping in a submarine powered by nuclear power.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's like, listen, this isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
You can have the remote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen Das Boot?
Dad, how dangerous? Like when you were in the submarine, like how deep were you? Or like,
I've asked that.
let him answer. Like how
400 feet or more.
400 feet.
10 years.
And like, do you see any boogans or anything? See any?
Military term.
No, you don't see anything. There's like 6 inches of steel between you.
Oh,
and the
okay.
water.
There's no windows. Then.
There are no windows. And
No windows.
And no screen doors.
Okay. All right. Settle down.
Do you have to say 400 feet or more because someone once told you that you can't say?
That's the secret.
Yeah,
And so it could have been as much as 2,400 feet, and you saw the Loch Ness monster and did battle with it.
And I wouldn't tell you.
You can neither
He wouldn't
confirm
even
nor
tell
deny.
me. He couldn't even tell me.
Yeah.
No, I'd say, how deep did you go? Pretty deep.
Where? Pretty deep.
How far did you go?
Classified.
Pretty far.
But it is classified. You're sworn to secrecy.
He's sworn to
right?
secrecy even 10 years after he's out.
Well, 10 years. Well, how long you been out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's like 50 years.
Well, let's spill. Let's talk. What's up with Area 51?
Was it Sarah Palin who said they could see Russia from her backyard?
Yeah.
Well, I could see it through the periscope.
I was gonna make the joke that you were just off the coast of Nova Scotia.
No, not really.
Yeah, you were in a submarine whose job was, if the shit hit the fan, to strike first, if not second, and harder. Like you were parked off of our enemy and waiting to blow them up if you had to.
What was your day-to-day like? Like,
It's a lot of cosplay. You make your own fun when you're in a steel tube with 90 dudes. I'm sorry.
It's so unfair. So unfair.
What was the day to day? What?
It was pretty routine.
I mean that's probably a military priority. What was your post? What was your station? What was? Were you
maneuvering? We would operate the reactor.
Oh, okay. Wait.
So,
wow. Maneuvering and we would operate the reactor. To me, sounds like two different things. Maneuvering sounds like
it's the same place. The area, the control room, was called maneuvering.
Okay. But the reactor, you're talking about the nuclear reactor.
Correct.
You would operate the reactor.
Yes.
How is that maneuvering? The reactor isn't it just a furnace that's powering this thing? You're not just shoveling nuclear material into it.
No, you're not shoveling it. But that's what it's required to maneuver, to move.
Is to like turn up and down this thermostat on this nuclear plant.
Not quite a thermostat, but something like that. Yes.
They shape it like a steering wheel to make you feel more comfortable. But really, it's a thermostat.
How many people did that with you?
Three.
Did anybody go crazy down there?
I can't handle it, man.
Couple wild cards down there?
No. Never had that happen.
No?
We had someone come aboard one time. We were short a person, and they were going to volunteer for submarines, so they didn't really vet them very well, I guess would be the word. And we never pulled away from the side of the tender before he said, I can't take this. And left.
That happens on Deadliest Catch every week. You ever watch that? There's always a greenhorn that is like, I've watched this show on TV. I'm going to be a great crab fisherman. And then they're like puking and they can't handle it. And they, let me out of here. I can't even begin to. Okay, so were you in the shit? No. Okay.
How long would you be? How long would you be in the submarine for? Like days, weeks?
The longest?
Yeah.
120-day patrol.
120 days.
Man. You guys have it so easy.
And were you? So I assume that if you were parked somewhere strategically, and then after that 120 days, that's when another sub would come and relieve you, kind of tap you out, and it would take this thing, go back up.
Something like that. We weren't really parked. We had a
little course,
maybe a 100 square mile area where we would be in somewhere.
And there was never any moment when most of the equipment failed and there was another one out there, and it was like, wait, listen. Turn off all the fans. The fans are making noise. But if we turn off the fans, we won't be able to shut up and listen to me.
Ed Harris discovers
Bubble up
aliens.
to 10. The bubble only goes to 9. To 10, I said. There was never these submarine dramas. There's like 9 good ones. Do you watch them? Or do you feel traumatized at all when you watch Das Boot? When you watch?
No. Das Boot was a good representation.
Was that the best one? Was that the
Was
best?
it that
I think it was one of the best ones.
Was it that really that
Most
touch and go with
most
like bolts
realistic.
flying out like a water spring?
You know, you've got to remember, I was in mostly peacetime,
Right.
Cold War, but it was a little different.
We all miss it so much. Just when our enemy for 50 years was other
So
white
much
guys with a
simpler.
backwards alphabet.
So simple.
And we all just had an agreement. Let's just make James Bond movies and hang out. The kids' cartoons will have like Natasha, like femme fatale, like Bullwinkle.
So great. We
It's-
do
it's
a
just
nuclear drill every once in a while. in
And now
school,
it's just
and
like, hello, I'm
done with
happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm a crazy person with a completely. I'm taking a turkey carving knife and I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And we don't know what we're doing. Sorry, I just envy that so much. Like the
we envy the Cold War.
yeah. Because it was nice and
I feel
cold.
for you.
Yeah.
I think war is best served cold. And you can see us trying to recreate that, like since 9/11, that we're trying desperately.
Yeah.
A new generation has inherited an empire that was really forged by kind of wizards, guys smoking cigarettes and doing nothing but thinking in the basement of the Pentagon about how do we get into World War II and what are we going to do when we get into that and how are we going to turn that into America running the show. And they nailed it. And then that plan, which was 50 years long, kind of ran out right around that fateful day. And we're all living in this weird epilogue where it's more open source now. We're all watching each other lie and scramble to try to recreate the glory days. You can see us trying to. ISIS? Is it going to be ISIS? Okay, great. So ISIS. So ISIS. So
Can we get
just stand
bank on
there
that?
in your good light. Put the turban on and just like be ISIS. Can you be ISIS for 50 years? Okay, nailed it. Great. Okay, that's going to move Twinkies. But they're not playing ball. They're not. That's not going to happen. I don't know what my point is. Let's move on. How many people were on board your sub? Over 20.
Yeah. Oh well, about 100.
Are you still friends with them? Some of them?
Some.
Yeah.
Some. We go to a reunion every couple of years.
Because that's you must have gotten really close with some of these guys.
Literally, yes. It was required.
You're very close. Yeah.
You gentlemen are going to have to get close.
Logistically, you were close.
You have submarine reunions, is what you're saying.
Yes, we do.
Can I come to one of those?
I would like to watch one through a periscope. Because I don't want to interfere in soil. I would love to hear what
You could do your historical figure there. Last reunion, we had Ben Franklin show up.
Wait, what?
Literally.
Explain. Was it like a stripogram?
They had a Ben
A
Franklin.
penny saved is a penny burned. He came out of a cake and was like,
Mom, tell him. They had a.
Tell him, Mom.
No, at the last reunion, all of a sudden somebody came through the door, and he was, because the name of the ship was Ben Franklin.
oh.
And so he came through the door, all dressed up and as a Ben Franklin, and helped give out all the awards, and it was kind of cool.
What did he sound like?
What did he sound
Yeah,
like?
what-
Ben Franklin.
I think he sounded exactly like Ben Franklin.
Oh wow!
as
You know, that's a pretty good Ben
as
Franklin.
near as I could tell.
Oh, okay. He did
all
the
right.
best impression of Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
Well, I think they've been really good sports, and I want them to end on a comfort high. And I just want to thank Donna and David Schrab for coming up. You guys can go back and relax while I try to figure out how to end the show. Thank you so much.
Dan, you were very well behaved. Thank you so much. It was very nice of you to not be obnoxious and hurt.
I've always liked your parents.
Okay.
I felt like they were kind of being dicks.
See, Rob,
It's their thing.
A little bit, no offense.
Rob.
David does that thing with his face. You
No,
know, where
he
he's
does.
like,
Yeah.
you can tell he's thinking, "Fuck you."
They're kidding. This is funny. This is
Joking.
funny.
Joking.
This is funny to them.
You have great parents.
I do.
You have great parents.
I do. That's why I brought him along.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him.
But look at you, punk rock. Yeah.